Hello and welcome to a little bit of a news update over the weekend here on my channel. Normally I don't do gaming news over the weekend, but two big things happened and I want to give you an update here, so let's jump right into it. The first one is Nvidia has just announced yesterday that the Geforce 4080 12GB version will be unlaunched, whatever that means, because it never really launched in the first place. And they are saying the RTX 4080 12GB is a fantastic graphics card. Spoiler, it's not really, but it's not named right. Yeah, this is why, because it is not a 4080. Having two GPUs with the 4080 designation is confusing. So we are pressing the on launch button on the 4080 12GB, and the RTX 4080 16GB is amazing and on track to delight gamers everywhere on November 16th. If the lines around the block and the enthusiasm for the 4090 is any indication, the reception for the 4080 will be awesome. Framing is something so beautiful. By the way, fun fact, the pictures they're using here are not Nvidia's pictures, and they already had to remove some of them because they got DMCA'd from the takers of those pictures. So good job on that. But let's talk about this here briefly. I know people will now think, oh my god, Nvidia is listening to us. Yes, Nvidia has realized that we caught them trying to pull a fast one, and that they are now reacting to this. This is good on you, Nvidia. Don't be confused. They're not doing this because the community was up in arms. There were two other reasons why they did this. The first one is probably the biggest one, and that is they would have been dragged into court, at least in Europe, if not even in the US, about this. And before anybody says, no, this would never happen, they already got dragged into court. I know a lot of people don't know this or have forgotten about this, but the 970, yes, the amazing 970, actually managed to get Nvidia in front of a court, and Nvidia got convicted for basically trying to pull a fast one on the consumer, and they had to pay back the consumer. What happened? Well, they offered 8GB, right, of, I think it was DDR4 RAM or DDR3 RAM or something like that. And that was a lie. Only 7.5GB was on the fast RAM, and the last 500 MB were on the slow RAM. So whenever a game was utilizing that slow RAM, everything would be slowed down. Nvidia has forgotten to tell that people, and they got into trouble. You can look it up on Google. They had to pay multiple millions back to the people. So they were probably just afraid that at least here in Europe, they would have been gotten dragged into court about this. Like, you try to pull a fast one here on the people and you try to confuse them. Like when they are trying to paint this as a whoopsie, we didn't realize that this would confuse you. It's like, no, that's exactly what you try to do here. You try to confuse the people and hopefully not catching up to the fact that you hide a 4070 at least, or if not even a 4060 as a 4080, and try to sell that for $900. That's the small little asterisk you have forgotten to mention. Also, and this is the second point why Nvidia was so fast on doing this. Because they don't have to give a shit about this. What is that supposed to mean? Well, for the 4090 and the 4080 16GB, there is an Nvidia Founders Edition for it, right? You can directly buy those cards from Nvidia. Surprise! The 4080 12GB does not have a Founders Edition. This costs Nvidia nothing. But all the third-party manufacturers like MSI, EVGH, oh wait, no. Because they probably saw this coming to a certain degree and they just had enough of it and Now, under all those circumstances, what EVGA did was a very smart move in the end. But now all those third-party manufacturers, they have to redo all their shit. The packaging, maybe even like the ID number, the software, like when you were like putting in your GPU, like you can go into the BIOS and you can see like, okay, what GPU do I have here? So they probably now have to redo this. And believe me, that a lot of those 4080s were probably just already waiting somewhere, put away till the release. So this will now cost a lot for those people. Nvidia, on the other hand, they lost nothing here. They just told everyone, yep, you have to take care of it. Like, that's your problem. So the more you think about it, the more you realize that EVGA did a smart move in the end to just say, yeah, we are out. Like, Nvidia is just stupid at this point, right? But now, let's talk about the second news, and that is Batman. Well, no, not Batman, just Gotham Knights. There's no Batman in it because Batman is dead. Yesterday's rumor were swirling up that Gotham Knight, at least on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, would not have a performance mode and would only run on 30 FPS. Because some people had some copies earlier and they could take a look at it. Were just rumors, right? Well, in the middle of the night, because of course, the Discord, the official Discord server, Warner Brothers were clarifying and they were saying, yes, that rumor is actually true, and let me show you this. Hello everyone. I know many of you are wondering about the availability of a performance mode for Gotham Knights on consoles. Due to the types of features we have in our game, like providing a fully untethered co-op experience in our highly detailed world, it's not as straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting a higher FPS. For this reason, our game does not have a performance quality toggle option and will run at 30 FPS on consoles. I know we could now fight over this, if this is a lot of BS, because, well, but the PC can do it, right? And we have seen more and more consoles like offering graphic options where you could do this. We could fight over this for hours, and that's not really what I want to do. But I want to take a look at the circumstances here. First things first, you made this announcement not on your Twitter account, not on your socials or anything. You made this in your Discord. And you did that at nearly 9 p.m., I think Pacific it is. That is in the middle of the night for most people around the world. And for your biggest markets. That you decided to do that in a very highly corporated manner is just telling a lot. And also, another thing we really have to point out here, the game is not coming out in 2 or 3 months. The game is coming out next week. So you didn't make this announcement because you felt like, oh yeah, we might should tell people about this, shouldn't we? No. You made this announcement because the rumors were swirling around. If nobody would have talked about this, the release would have come around the corner, people would have started up the game, and they would be like, hey, where's my performance mode? Where are my options here? And then they would have already paid for the game. And that's probably something you hope for. Again, that you decided to give that information a week before the release tells me You did know very well how people would react to this and how people would take this information, and you tried to hide it. You didn't lie about it, but you also didn't mention it because you were building on the fact of like people would assume, like this is a constant problem in the gaming industry, and we have talked about this multiple times. But most gaming companies do not lie to their consumers. They just not tell them the truth, but they also don't really talk about the fact. And so people are being led up to assume something, which then later on the gaming companies can just say, well, we never said that. It's not our fault if you assumed it, even though they knew exactly that they would lead them on, right? And that's exactly what they tried to do here. And now they couldn't hide the fact anymore. Now they came forward. And you know what they should have done instead? This is, of course, a tough pill to swallow. Like this would have not been received positive at any time. But a week before the release, why not come forward? Why not just tell the people pretty early on, like a month or two before the actual release, like, hey, sorry, we cannot offer you a 60 FPS mode. We have to go to 30. Here are the reasons why. We all know this sucks for a lot of people. This might hurt our bottom line. But now that we have this out of the way, let's focus on all the cool stuff and let's hype up the release. Now, a week before the release, when all the information's out there, when all the hype is starting, people do not focus on that anymore. They focus now on this thing. And I can tell you, every time Warner Brothers will now post something about the game, people will make a joke on the 30 FPS. It will become a meme leading up to the release, which is really unfortunate. It really, really sucks. And they should have mentioned that sooner. Would have been easier for the developers, would have been easier for the community and everyone who was involved. But they made the decision to hide it till they couldn't hide it anymore. And that sucks. With that said, we are done with the gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you want to have more gaming news, mostly daily gaming news under the week. We had a little bit of a break because of technical issues we had. That GPU, it makes creating content relatively hard when your GPU is dead and you don't have a replacement immediately at the end. But yeah, we are back to the daily gaming news schedule. And again, if you enjoy some gaming news and you enjoy my commentary, I would appreciate if you might subscribe to the channel. With that said, stay safe and see you next time. Bye-bye.